Hello. In this week's Torah portion, Bechukkotai, God promises that if we follow His commandments, many good things will happen to us, including Hishpatzi haya ra'a min haaretz. I will remove evil beasts from the land. This brings up the question, why did God create the evil beasts in the first place? They must kill just to survive. People have free will and can survive on a vegetarian diet, so they can choose whether to harm, kill, or inflict pain on man or beast. But predators or carnivorous animals don't have that choice. They must do these things to survive. Why did God create them, if a world at peace was His goal? Let's review what the Torah says on the matter before attempting to answer the question. First, the Torah reports that originally every living thing was vegetarian. The book of Genesis says, quote, God said to Adam, Behold, I have given you every herb-bearing seed, which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree on which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed. To you it shall be for food, and to every beast of the earth, and to every bird of the air, and to everything that creeps upon the earth, where there is life, I have given every green herb for food. And it was so. So, carnivores did not exist then, but they exist today, and seem designed to kill, with their large and sharp teeth, their claws, and their great strength. Why? Second, the Torah does not say that Adam was afraid of some of the animals, or that they tried to harm him. Maybe they didn't. Adam was simply told to name all the newly created animals. Quote, And out of the ground the Lord God formed every beast of the fields and every bird of the air, and brought them to Adam, to see what he would call them. And whatever Adam called every living creature, that was its name. And Adam gave names to all cattle, and to the bird of the air, and to every beast of the fields. Unquote. Now, names are critical in Judaism. If God asked Adam to name the animals, it was for Adam to determine the purpose of each animal through its name, to become a co-creator, as it were. Similarly, the patriarch Jacob identified the mission of each of his sons on his deathbed. For example, he said, The staff shall not depart from Judah, nor the scepter from between his feet, and to him shall the obedience of the people be. Unquote. Indeed, the royal house of Israel is from Judah. Did Adam decide that some animals should be predators? Why? Third, on Noah's ark, the predators lived in peace with the other animals, since they all survived the flood. Noah could not have fed them meat. Fourth, in our Torah portion, we saw that God promises that if we are observant, wild beasts will no longer threaten us. Does that mean that the carnivores were created to be our punishment for lack of observance? The Sifra, a midrash on Leviticus, says that this means that the animals will be transformed, so they no longer cause harm to other creatures. Fifth, God declared the world very good. Vayar Elokim et kol asher asa, vehine tov meod. And God saw that everything that He had made, and behold, it was very good. The book of Psalms adds, Tov Hashem lakol verachamav al kol ma'asav. The Lord is good to all, and His mercies are all over His works. So presumably there is some good in predators. In fact, the Talmud teaches that everything God created has a purpose. Quote, Rav Yehuda said in Rav's name, Of all that the Holy One, blessed be He, created in His worlds, He did not create a single thing without purpose. Unquote. So let us speculate on possible reasons for the creation of carnivores. One reason for carnivores could be population control, to make sure the herbivore population doesn't grow too fast. Biologists have identified predator-prey cycles where the predators feed on the prey until little prey is left. Then they start dying of starvation. This lull allows whatever prey is left to reproduce exponentially, thus providing new food for predators, who thus also start growing in numbers. The cycle then repeats indefinitely. But could God not have have simply made the herbivores less fertile? Can the herbivores control their own population based on the supply of food available, without the need to die a painful death in the mouth of predators? A second reason for predators might be that they were created to serve as bad examples to human beings. Evidence for that theory is that no predators are kosher. Jews may not eat them. The Ramban went so far as to say that we may not eat them because they are cruel and we do not want to absorb their bad traits. Note also that all sacrificed animals were prey, not predators. The Midrash says, quote, "The Holy One, blessed be He, said, an ox is pursued by a lion, a goat by a leopard, a sheep by a wolf. Do not offer before me the pursuers, but rather the pursued." Unquote. The book of Ecclesiastes says, and God takes the side of the pursuit. But if so, isn't it better for an animal's sake to be non-kosher? Shechita may minimize the pain inflicted in killing kosher animals for food, but it does not eliminate it. Some say that if there were no non-kosher animals, we would not get rewards for not eating them, so their role is simply to tempt us. A third possible reason for predators is that people can use them in ways other than a source of food or population control. For example, bears and minks are used for clothing. Crocodiles are used to make leather goods, such as wallets, purses, and belts. Whale oil was used for lighting for a long time. Dogs are used for protection. Snake venom and carnivorous plants are used to make medical products. Leeches are still used in surgery. Rats are used in medical research. Falcons in hunting. Dolphins are used by the military to detect mines and lost swimmers, or to retrieve objects. Zoological gardens are used for education. Circus animals are used for entertainment. Cats are used for companionship. We can also learn from the behavior of all animals. The book of Job said, "God teaches us from the animals of the land and from the birds of the heavens, He makes us wise." The book of Proverbs says, "Go to the ant, you sluggards, observe her ways and become wise. For although there is neither officer nor guards, nor ruler over her, she prepares her food in the summer and gathers her food in the harvest." The Talmud says, quote, "Rabbi Yochanan observed, if the Torah had not been given, we could have learned modesty from the cat, honesty from the ant, chastity from the dove, and good manners from the rooster." A commentator added, "and devotion and loyalty from a dog." But these various uses do not require the animals to be carnivores. They could be herbivores and still fulfill these roles. Note in passing that Jewish laws allows us to benefit from predators, although it does not allow us to benefit from mixtures of milk and meat. A fourth reason for predators might be a concession to man's own predatory instincts, his evil inclination, or Yetzer Hara, which the Talmud tells us is necessary for a useful life. It is worth noting in this respect that people like to use expressions that glorify wild beasts, usually predators, and vilify domesticated and useful animals, usually herbivores. For example, being called a lion, a tiger, an eagle, a fox, or an owl is a compliment. Lions and tigers convey strength, eagles convey majesty, foxes convey cleverness, and owls convey wisdom. But being called a pig, or a dog, or a cow, or a weasel, or a chicken, or a turkey, or an ass, or an elephant, or a goat, or a monkey, or a rat, or a shrimp, or a toad, or a worm is a grave insult. Cruelty and violence have always attracted huge crowds. Fights to the death, lethal games, public executions, and the like. Our own Talmud is not exempt from lapsing into such dubious glorification. Quote, Rabbi Yehuda ben Tema used to say, "Be bold as the leopard, light as the eagle, swift as the deer, and strong as the lion, to do the will of your Father in heaven." Unquote. Even in the Torah itself, Jacob on his deathbed compares some of his sons to mostly predators. Judah is identified with a lion, Issachar with a donkey, Dan with a serpent, Naphtali with a deer, and Benjamin with a wolf. A fifth reason for predators could be improvement of the species. When the lion devours the gazelle, which gazelle does he devour? The swift and clever one or the slow and dumb one? Answer, the slow and dumb one. By removing the weakest from the prey population, predators improve the species. The survivors are the ones able to escape, and they are the ones that reproduce and pass on their ability. Survival of the fittest. One can even generalize and say that everybody needs challenges to improve themselves and the world. These challenges frequently come in the form of stress, violence, death, and devastation. Much human progress is due to competition and even war. It is military requirements that gave us nuclear energy, the computer, the internet, the GPS, the sonar, the radar, the microwave oven, the drone, night vision, rocket technology, space travel, canned foods, freeze-dried foods, the jet engine, the digital camera, and plastic surgery, not to mention improvements over existing technologies. A sixth possible reason for predators is to keep enough plants for humans. When there were droughts and plants got scarce, humans got first dibs on the plants. Herbivores had to become carnivores to survive. After all, humans come first. As God said to Adam, "Have dominion over the fish of the sea and over the birds of the air and over every living thing that moves upon the earth." Unquote. Also, carnivores may have been originally herbivores, but then saw prey as easy targets of opportunity. It is easier and faster to get calories through eating animals than through eating plants. Evolution then adapted their bodies to their new diets. But this evolution can be reversed. Some carnivores are already omnivores. They eat both flesh and plants. The panda bear has the same digestive system as the grizzly bear and the black bear, both carnivores, yet it is an herbivore. It eats bamboo. The coyote is a carnivore, but can also live on melons, berries, and cactus fruits. The raccoon can switch between being a carnivore and an herbivore. During the two world wars, when meat was rations, zoos fed plants to their carnivorous animals, and they survived. Early in this century, a lioness was raised and survived on a vegetarian diet of cheesy pasta, potatoes, and green vegetables. She was called Lee, the spaghetti lioness. She particularly liked Neapolitan sauce. So, the division between carnivore and herbivore may indicate preference and digestive system design, but it is not absolute. In conclusion, it appears the world took a wrong turn when some animals became carnivores. Converting them to eating plants is part of the Jewish mission of Tikkun Olam, the repair of the world. After all, the prophet Isaiah promised us that one day animals will no longer threaten us or one another. He said, quote, "And the wolf shall live with the lamb, and the leopard shall lie down with the kids, and the calf and the young lion and the fatling together. And the cow and the bear shall feed, their young ones shall lie down together, and the lion shall eat straw like the ox. And the sucking child shall play on the hole of the asp, and the weaned child shall put his hand in the viper's den." Unquote. And that's our hope for the future. Shabbat Shalom.